heading over to the spot, pick you up around 9. Meet me in the parking lot, never make it inside. We're getting out of here tonight. Yeah, we'll go anywhere you like. Yeah. 9/11, it's a heist, stole my heart, gave me life. No, I'm right, baby. I don't get my type on, yeah. She 11 with the lights on, yeah. Bite my neck just like a python. Breathe it right into my lungs. I took a hit, it's a crib, see my medicine. Before it's all said and done, two places for the neck that's gotta wipe you up. I'm heading over to the spot, pick you up around 9. Meet me in the parking lot, never make it inside. We're getting out of here tonight. Yeah, we'll go anywhere you like. I'm breaking cop lights, baby, I'm racing. Cause you're the only music I'm facing. You gon' leave my heart sedated, yeah. She just got it, but she wanted. Fell from heaven, she a weapon when she comes for me. I find it comforting. Now I'm blowing, she got me freeze-frame. Buffering, yeah. I sold the plans for your demands. I need the spare cash to pay my rent. I'm suffering, still caught in break me loose. Stay good news, baby. I'm heading over to the spot, pick you up around 9. Meet me in the parking lot, never make it inside. We're getting out of here tonight. Yeah, we'll go anywhere you
Is it safe to come out yet? Has John Moxley gone away? Is like, are we safe? I don't know if we're safe anymore, guys, because as Dynamite put it this week, John Moxley is back and nobody is safe. So I just need to
Nobody.
Okay. I think we're good for the next hour. Hopefully he doesn't come finding me again because I talk badly about how everything is going. But hi, all you BC WrestlePod nerds out there, and welcome to another rendition of the All Elite Ensemble review. That's our tagline now. I love it. Your weekly, and this is your weekly AEW recap show here on the BC WrestlePod YouTube Twitch conglomeration network. That is what we are officially calling this thing that we got going on the internet. It's going to change every single review, but those are the 4 words, and somehow they will mesh together. I am one of your hosts this evening, Mikey, and joining me once again this week is Team A&A themselves, in Alice and Adolfo here. There a lot of things went down in AEW, so I'm happy that
I'm ready to talk about it. Let's go.
It's a busy week.
It is definitely a busy week for sure. But a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. In this conglomeration network that we got going on, you can follow us all over the social medias on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch. And if that is a lot of social medias to follow, it's because it is. But you can download the Next Level app. Shout out to the boys at Next Level for continuing to work with us, where all of our social medias are nicely packaged into one place for you. It also will take you to our Patreon and a Cash App and a Venmo, because we're trying to keep the proverbial lights on around here. Because running a podcast takes money, you guys. It's a lot of work. And work I love, but also it's money. And then of course you can hook yourself up with some merch we got going on. Link in the description below of this video. We got some really fun stuff. Will has sent me some really fun designs that may or may not coincide with a certain timeless one from AEW. So
Nice.
I am super excited. And I'm excited to talk more about the timeless one tomorrow evening on a different show. But we are here to review AEW. So without further ado, we're not going to waste any time because that is exactly what AEW did. Well, upon second watching, it didn't waste my time. The first time I watched what opened the show, I felt like wasted my time because I am a little bit more positive about it, but I'm still not vibing with this whole entire restarting this feud. But what am I talking about? Well, after we got a recap of everything that went down at Wrestle Dream, because lo and behold, it's been a week since the pay-per-view, which is kind of nuts to think about.
That is nuts. Wow.
I was thinking, okay, we get a cold open, Moxley as usual, and this crew. I'm just like, okay. And we get the closing moments of everything. And Mox says that he's tired of all the egos in AEW and he's about to burn this forest down because we can't copyright infringement from Seth freaking Rollins. But he's about to burn the forest down and he's going to rebuild a new one. Okay. I'm here for this weirdly philosophical, I'm in the right Moxley, where he, in order to restart things, everything needs to just burn to ash, which includes everyone, because everyone apparently in AEW has a Nico, and I'm like, fair, but isn't that most wrestlers? So I'm like,
right? Yeah.
Poor Wheeler just looks so distraught. I'm like, Wheeler, save yourself. Somebody come save this poor man. Somebody needs to come save sad boy Wheeler, you guys, like, because I'm sad. Anyways, so we go from here into something I also was not really sure if I liked this. Adam Cole cuts his promo, and basically, without going into too much detail about it, Adam Cole's the babyface, MJF is the heel. I guess it makes sense, but I'm just like, I feel like the ship has sailed. No, it really shouldn't. But the ship has sailed from what we were originally going to get a long time ago, and then they decided to restart this. And Adam Cole's reasoning, which I will add, he did a good job of explaining it and kind of making people believe, you know, he's always, that MJF is always been the same, you know, piece of crap that he's always been, and that he witnessed it when the cameras were off and nobody else was around. He was still the horrible human being that we all know MJF to be. And so he needs to take out the evil, which then prompts Max to get on the screen and, you know, chastise Adam Cole and just be like, you can try, come get some. And I'm just like, I'm happy Adam Cole is back. I really am. I do not care about this feud. I am sorry. I do not. I'm like, that ship has sailed, and I don't like the role reversals we have, because it would have been more fun if MJF was the babyface and Cole was the heel. I do not care about this feud, and I am not happy about the roles reversed, but I'm like, well, I'll deal with it. I think the feud could be fun. I just don't like that we are restarting the feud that kind of died out when Adam Cole got injured almost a year ago.
Yeah, well, that's wherein lies why it feels odd to me, because even into 2024, we had those like story times with Adam Cole, you know, when he was still with Undisputed Kingdom. They were Undisputed Kingdom, and he was giving off that like heel mega villain energy. You know, I understand that he was hurt. I understand that other stuff has probably happened in his real life and whatnot that like extended his you know, stay out of the limelight of wrestling. But yeah, I would have much rather if he came back as a heel and MJF done that, like that tweener babyface thing that he was kind of doing for a little bit there. But you know, like on the flip side of that, we had the you know, the reemergence of MJF, and he has, you know, he's gone full blown heel. So, you know, I guess it just makes sense to have the babyface Adam Cole to balance it out.
Yeah, like I said, I think the in-ring is going to be fun.
Oh, sure.
I'm not a big fan of I don't mind the restarting of the feud, but I have a bigger issue with the roles are now reversed in this 2.0 version of the feud. So
Yeah. I mean, when MJF came back, it would have been nice if they had kept him in that in betweener, but he followed that whole like audience, you betrayed me, so I'm going to do me and all this other stuff. So like, okay. You're right though. The in-ring stuff is going to be good. We'll see. You know what? I'm still holding judgment. I watch the other shows, and they are hardly ever on the other shows. So I still holding judgment. I want to see a little bit more to see what they do.
Right. So we move on from one promo to a backstage segment / a promo. So we cut backstage and we hear from Chris Jericho yet again. Not because he deserves it, but he talks about the success of Terrifier 3, which he was in, and he did get murderized in it. So shout out to Terrifier 3 being exactly amazing, because Terrifier 3 is doing wonders. It is smart that they released it around this time. But Chris Jericho says that there's some controversy behind Mark Briscoe's win at Wrestle Dream. And then he awaits Briscoe's response to the rematch. And basically, we cut to Renee, who gets the response from Mark Briscoe himself and says that, Jericho takes things in one ear and out the other, but Jericho once again has to talk about his brother.
Of course.
So I'm like, of course. So speaking on Jay, so next, basically,
take his brother's name out of his mouth.
Yeah, and I'm just like, Jericho, we did not learn our lesson from Wrestle Dream, but tomorrow night on Dynamite, we are getting the ROH Championship yet again in a Ladder Wars match, which is a big staple in ROH. I think it's going to be carnage, and I'm a sick freak, and I love violence. But I swear, we'll say this again, like I said for Wrestle Dream, and Team A&A will be my witness to this. If Jericho wins that title tomorrow, I am turning off my television. I am not. I'm so frustrated. I need some break between Jericho versus anybody at this point. Especially since we've been doing Jericho and Learning Tree versus Conglomeration for 2.5 months now.
Yep.
And it's not going anywhere.
Yep.
So, speaking of the Learning Tree, we have the branches in action because it is Brian Keith and Big Bill taking on, the newest members of the queer community in FTR. I'm not going to lie. I was very surprised to see FTR and Dynamite because I'm like, y'all boys have been on Collision for like the last 3 months. So it's kind of nice to see you on Dynamite. And as soon as I saw FTR, I'm just like, well, we know where this is going. And sure enough, FTR do pick up the victory here. I will say, though, I thought this was a fun match. The bounty hunter, Brian Keith, continues to be amazing in the matches he's in. And I think he's probably no hate to Big Bill, or Large William. I think Brian Keith is probably the best wrestler in the Learning Tree. I'm not going to lie. Jericho might have the experience, but Keith is just like on a different level, and he's bringing something fresh. So I will say this match was fun. I liked it.
The only thing I want to say is I enjoyed the Learning Tree without Chris Jericho.
I mean, I feel like that's everyone's sentiment. Yeah. I mean, me too. We
can move on from that.
Exactly. So the best thing, though, that happens is after FTR win, we get the Outrunners coming out, and we have the whole entire FT Runner group out there. I love this pairing so much, you guys. I love this pairing of FTR and the Outrunners. They are so fantastic. They do a 4-way flexing handshake before posing to the ground. I'm like, You go, FTR. You lead into this. It is amazing. Right. So we cut backstage. We talk. Billy Gunn is there talking about the Acclaim, just doing stuff right now. But they are interrupted, funny enough, by MVP and Shelton Benjamin. And they offer the Acclaim their business card. Anthony says they don't need anything from MVP. And then MVP just laughs and walks away. So I'm just like, on the one hand, I'm like, the Acclaimed and MVP could be an interesting dynamic. However, I noticed that it was Anthony who said no. Max did not say anything. So I'm like, is this where the split for the Acclaim happens? Is this where we're going? I was like,
what I said.
I'm going to be honest. I love the Acclaim, but I feel I would be more okay with this team splitting than they were trying to plant the seeds for splitting Private Party. I'm like, no, Private Party needs to stay together, but I'm okay if the Acclaim goes, separate for a little bit and push Anthony Bowens. Give this man a singles title. That's their alls to it.
We've been saying that for a while now, that, the Acclaim should split.
They should. And you guys, this is crazy, but we actually had women's action next on the Dynamite this week. And it was a championship match. Don't like that this was set up on 0 Hour, but Wrestle Dream. But you know what? We have Mercedes Moné defending her TBS championship against the one and only Queen Aminata. I'm going to be honest, you guys, this probably might be Mercedes' best match. And that's because she did not do her godforsaken finisher that we hate her using in this household. She just puts them in the bank statement basically for the win. And I'm just like, yo, Queen rocked Camille with that headbutt. Like, that clip was gnarly. And I'm like, that thing echoed. Like, I was like, that was head-on-head collision. And I was just like, Queen, you are my hero. Like, it's fantastic. Unfortunately, though, as we all knew, Mercedes would retain. But this was a really good match. I'm not going to lie. And I think this is probably Mercedes' best match. And I think that's because she had to kind of answer to Queen, who's very unorthodox and more heavy-handed when it comes to things like, again, the headbutt. I love Queen's air raid crash. It's one of the things that I love watching her do as a finisher. It's so beautiful. But Mercedes Moné picks up the win. Mercedes celebrates in the ring with a rock to Camille. And again, I know it seems like I'm cutting through a lot, but there was a lot of promos this episode. This was more promos than matches. And that's because we are getting into some crazy stuff for Full Gear. But we get to a recap of what went down between the Young Bucks and Private Party at Wrestle Dream. And then we head backstage where Private Party are asking the Young Bucks, they want a rematch for the tag titles. And the Bucks respond with what they posted on Twitter when a fan brought that up. It's like, nah, that doesn't work for us, buddy. Yep. However, they tell Private Party that that's their last shot at the belts, and then they walk away. So the Bucks are not going to give Private Party a rematch. And I'm like, something is about to go down where Private Party gets one more chance at those belts. Tony, give it to them at Full Gear. Give it to them at Full Gear because I want Private Party to win. But this wasn't it because Bucks walk off. Private Party turns, and then there is Mr. Stokely Hathaway there.
Yep.
And, Stokely basically scoffs at Private Party for rejecting his offer to be managed by him before Wrestle Dream. And then Stokely says to Isaiah that, he's a single star anyway before walking off. And the crowd was not happy with that line from Stokely. Because I'm like, no. Yeah. Thankfully, Isaiah and Mark looked at each other and they're like, bro, we got to cut to commercial, bro. Like, this wasn't like... But Stokely, you made me mad. Don't break up Private Party. Don't even put that in existence.
Yeah, Stokely's been putting his nose in Private Party's business quite a bit lately, which we are going to revisit this whole thing. But I'm interested to see how it's gonna go. That's what I'm gonna say for right now.
So we cut to commercial, and when we come back, this was a rough backstage segment, but we have the entirety of the Elite. So the Bucks, Jack Perry, and Kazuchika Okada, who have a birthday cake to wish Kenny Omega a happy birthday. Before dumping, this was gross. Like, I don't want to get into too much detail, but they basically took like what happens when you make menudo before you process everything and just threw it onto this cake to mock Kenny Omega for his health scare with diverticulitis and all that.
Like, man had diverticulitis. That kills people. Calm down. Oh my gosh.
I was like, okay, we're kind of pushing the line. This is nuts. And then Jack Perry ended this whole thing, and I was like, that was kind of a cold line. And he's like, get better, Kenny, or don't. I don't care. And then walks off. I'm like, damn, Perry. I was like, that was harsh.
It was harsh. And I hope this means, as much as I don't like Kenny Omega, I hope this means Kenny Omega is going to come here and take that title from Jack Perry.
Kenny as TNT championship would be great. When Kenny comes back, the EVPs better be worried because he's coming for their heads. Kenny is going to come for their heads, and I am here for a revenge tour with Kenny Omega. I miss Kenny so much. He is so fantastic. But next, we get the entrances for our next match, in which we have the Elite, which is the Bucks and Kazuchika Okada, taking on the Conglomeration, which is being represented by Kyle O'Reilly, Orange Cassidy, and Mr. Azúcar Rocky Romero. And I'm just sitting here, I'm like, okay, this might actually be a great match. We go for like 8 minutes, and I'm like, ooh, okay, this is getting fun. Of course, as soon as I saw Mox's bald head enter the picture, I'm like, well, there goes that match. And sure enough, we get a no contest, as Switchblade Conspiracy is what I'm calling them until we get an official name. But they attack the Conglomeration. The EVPs get the hell out of Dodge. And I love this because the EVPs and Okada are looking on. It's like, oh shit, those are real bad guys in the ring. Like, because, and this is where I throw this theory out to you two. The EVPs have been running AEW, so to speak, for the last couple of months, and they're the ones that really have had most of the power. Now we have this renegade faction with Mox and crew, like running roughshod all over. And do you think we're going to start to see the EVPs having to pick a side because they want to stay as far away from this and their hands are clean? But Mox is going to come for them. So how long do we think it takes before the EVPs have to actually begrudgingly side with all the people they've screwed over the last couple of months?
Oh man. Part of me hopes that by Full Gear, that'll start coming to fruition. Part of me kind of wants it to linger a little bit more into like World's End and going into 2025. Go ahead. Let me formulate my thought.
It's okay. I want them to backpedal immediately. I think they they talk a big game, right? And I want them to be shown as like being like afraid. Right? I want them to backpedal immediately. I want them to like trip over themselves apologizing. Like, I think that would be a really interesting story to show them in a little bit of a different light because they've been very cocky and suave. And I think showing them kind of as like bumbling and afraid I think that would be interesting.
It would be, I want to like, I was talking to Alice about this earlier today. I want to like this John Moxley Blackpool Combat Club thing that they got going on. We're going to burn the forest down, to rebuild. I want to like it, but there's just something story-wise that is missing from it. And if they pulled the trigger and had Mox and co go after the EVPs, right, and use him as an example of this force that they want to burn down, right? Because to me, like the EVPs are the ones with the with the attitudes, and the EVPs are the one, and that whole that would, in my mind, make so much more sense and be like that missing part of this story. Blackpool Combat Club running around and beating on Private Party and Top Flight and all these others. Like, I'm not it. It's just it's not connecting those dots for me.
I feel like they have the wrong. Okay, so I feel like right now, and again, this is only the beginning of the story, but I feel like they're having the wrong people kind of be involved in trying to take out Mox and crew. I mean, the conglomeration makes sense, and I still hold to the fact that I think it's going to be the conglomeration versus the Mox and crew for the first part of the story. But if we're going to look at everybody who came out, like, as much as I love Top Flight, I feel that, I don't know, Top Flight doesn't make a lot of sense. And if we're getting like, we need to save the company thing, as much as I get tired of seeing FTR booked in these big storylines, FTR makes a lot of sense because they are the company boys. Or if you're going to try to get younger talent to help out and take down Mox and crew, like, and I mean, we might be getting this, but you have Daniel Garcia and Private Party. Like, those are your guys that came out during the end of Wrestle Dream, and like, we're trying to break everything up. Of course, I still think that Darby is going to be the one to ultimately save the day and take down Mox whenever that is. But Top Flight, and then I was confused with Dark Order coming down too. I'm like, are y'all faces or heels? Because we keep switching every single week. I will say, though, Marina Shafir choking Alex Reynolds out was perfect thumbnail picture right there. I'm just like, Marina Shafir is a badass. So I was happy to see that we are presenting her as such, as we know her from her presentation in Ring of Honor of also being a badass. But again, I feel that, again, it's early in the story, so I did like this a lot. I'm excited to see where it goes. But now the EVPs find themselves stuck in a corner because they don't want nothing to do with Moxley, but they also got the other AEW locker room who's coming for them, and that's exactly what happened when we cut backstage. And the EVPs responded to all this. It's like, yeah, we want nothing to do with that, so we're not going to. But then they get interrupted by Daniel Garcia and Private Party, and we get a match tomorrow night on Dynamite where it's going to be Garcia and Private Party versus the EVPs, and I believe it's Perry or Okada, one of the two.
It's Perry. It's
Perry. That's what I thought. So the EVPs are going to find themselves in a very dangerous position because they have Mox and crew coming after them eventually, but they also have the rest of the AEW locker room who are about to come after them because they're the bosses and they're not doing anything about what is happening right now, which means that there's only one person to come save the day. Kenny Omega. No, like, honestly, I would not be surprised if Kenny has to come and it's like, y'all are burning this place to the ground. I may not be clear to wrestle, but we got to get this. It turns out Christopher Daniels has been like running a coup the whole entire time. This is about to get crazy, and I'm actually really excited for this story, and I'm excited for the match we get between the EVPs and Garcia and Private Party next week. Next, we hold a eulogy for Lio Rush. He got absolutely decimated by Shelton Benjamin.
Yup.
I mean, it was a little more competitive, but it was basically a glorified squash match. Like,
yeah, did we expect anything else?
No, and I'm like, yeah, Shelton Benjamin is... Shout out to Lio Rush for selling how devastating Shelton Benjamin looked when he took him out. And like, this whole kid lawn chaired himself. I'm like, you go, Lio Rush. But yeah, poor Lio Rush. Like, Private Party's getting jumped by Mox and crew. You know, Lio Rush has got his head kicked in. Shelton Benjamin. I'm like, so now I'm thinking, I'm like, Action being mad actually now makes a lot more sense. And he's just like, because they keep losing.
Yeah.
Or getting beat up. So
Yeah.
Shelton Benjamin wins. I'm excited to see MVP gets on the mic to run down Leo Rush before complimenting him. And then he turns his attention to Swerve. So, which then fast forwarding to this in 2 weeks, next week, we are getting a match between Swerve and Shelton Benjamin as part of AEW's like Fright Night special.
Fright Night
so,
Dynamite.
Yeah, Fright Night Dynamite.
so I'm just like, cool, day before Halloween. This is about to get on and popping.
I can't stop saying it. It sounds so
know.
fun. Fright Night Dynamite. Fright Night Dynamite.
It's actually fantastic.
Yeah.
So then we get a little like palate cleanser. Darby Allin is, just randomly chilling with Tony Hawk of all people. I'm like, Darby, how many cool people do you know? Like, what is happening?
So that's why they've been selling that merch on the
Yeah.
AEW
It's a fundraiser. It's actually a fundraiser.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's to support the skate park project, which is the foundation for Tony Hawk. Darby is helping be like a spokesperson for it. And honestly, as a kid who has grown up in Southern California and understands how important the skate culture is, especially in places like Malibu and Venice Beach, like skate parks are getting kind of extinct, which is kind of weird to say. But there is a lot more skaters in here. And so this project is here to raise money to build skate parks all over the place, especially in neighborhoods that are in need of, actual safe skate parks for kids to go and skate. Also, I may or may not be a person who loves Vans as well. So shout out to Vans for supporting the skate culture. But also Adolfo, yes, now it's connecting that is why they're selling the merch with Tony Hawk and everything. I love it. So,
And Tony Hawk's a grandpa now.
Yeah.
And he still can go. It's crazy. Tony Hawk is out here. Tony Hawk is amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
I wish this next thing was amazing. Guys, we got the Don Callis family press conference. First and foremost, listen, we were not vibing with Lance Archer's presentation before. Now this man looks like the Temu version of Drew McIntyre. Oh my gosh, what did they do to our boy? I was like, I know we weren't vibing with Lance Archer, but this is not the direction to go. And then my heart sunk because I saw this Wolverine Brian Cage entangled in this mess. I'm like,
Yup.
no, not Brian Cage.
Yup.
No, we don't need Brian Cage in here. Let him be on his own. No.
But we do.
But there is a flip side to this. As much as I'm not vibing with Lancer and Brian Cage's involvement, we do have our new AEW International Champion, Konosuke Takeshita, who put on 2 hell of a bangers this weekend at Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling events. Not only beating Speedball Mike Bailey, but also beating Josh the Walking Weapon Alexander, who are probably the top 2 people of TNA. It was a fantastic match. Y'all need to go watch it, but I digress. But the best part of this whole thing was Kyle Fletcher. He has gone full Hollywood heel in the sense that he's wearing denim. He's got sunglasses on, and he doesn't even speak that much. He basically says that next week he is going to answer, Will Ospreay as to why I did it. So we are building up Ospreay and Fletcher, which I'm pretty sure we're going to get at Full Gear. Like, that screams Full Gear to me. Hated this press conference, but the best part of this was Kyle Fletcher and Takeshita having a championship. So, any thoughts about our press conference vignette segment that we had? Thoughts, feelings about people involved, things that were said?
Go ahead. You first.
I was going to say, I love the full heel turn from Kyle Fletcher. He was the best part of this promo. And I think, I'm just going to go for it, right? That Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher fighting together was a wrestled dream for the 2 of them. And so I love that this started at Wrestle Dream, because I think that's something that they really wanted to do.
I'm excited. This allows them to go one-on-one. And Fletcher versus Ospreay is going to be fantastic. It's going to be so good.
And I hope it's like extended. Like I hope this feud lasts a while. Like
Yeah.
I would not be
Yes.
mad if this lasted a couple of
Yep.
months.
Yep.
Oh, this is easily, you can go have match one happen at Full Gear, second happen at World's End, and then we get a blow-off match at, because we have a long time before the next pay-per-view in March with Revolution, have it blowed off at Winter is Coming or something, one of the winter special shows for Dynamite. And I'm just like, or you know what, if they want to travel to both, we get a pay-per-view, have them have a match on Dynamite, and then also go to Collision, because Collision could also use them too. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But they won't put Will. No, I can't say they won't put Will on Collision, because he did defend his belt a couple of times on Collision, and I was there live when he defended it against Kyle O'Reilly, and that match was banging.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited to see when Powerhouse Hobbs comes back.
Oh my gosh, that's what I was thinking too.
If they address that, because hear me out, Powerhouse Hobbs then goes with MVP, and then we have MVP and his faction warring against the Don Callis family. I'd be here for that.
I would be too. I think it would be fantastic. So from here, we cut backstage with the glamour, Mariah May, and she addresses that there's a lack of competition for her, as you know, her former opponents are off doing other things. I'm like, girl, you've beaten almost all the other challengers right now. Like, what you talking about? There's a lack of competition. She says that AEW is where the best are afraid of the glamour. I was just like, ooh, girl. But here comes one of my personal favorites now that she has returned, and Miss Anna Jay. She gets in the face of Mariah, saying that she's going to come after the champ. And I love that as Mariah is trying to get away, she accidentally slaps the corporate Christopher Daniels instead of, Anna Jay, which sets up basically Mariah versus Anna Jay at Battle of the Belts, which would happen, as part of the Collision 3-hour block. But that would be happening, and it was announced it would be an eliminator match. So if Anna Jay won, she gets a future championship match. And I'm just sitting here, I'm like, we know how this is going to go. Spoiler alert, because we're not really going to talk about Battle of the Belts. We were wrong.
Yeah. And I'm so happy to be wrong.
Oh my gosh, because at Battle of the Belts, Anna Jay actually beat Mariah. And, she gets a championship match in 2 weeks, which has me super excited. And I'm just like, thank you. Something actually happened at Battle of the Belts that's worth mentioning. Thank you, AEW, for actually letting Anna Jay win an eliminator match and set her up for a title bout. Now it's nice. That. I love it, because now I'm excited to see the spiral of Mariah May. She's like, oh my gosh, I lost. Holy crap, I might actually lose this match. Like, I want to see her sweat a little, which has me super excited. We get a rundown of what's to come over the next 2-3 weeks of AEW programming. Next, we cut backstage. Ricochet cuts a really great promo, and he basically tells us that he has unfinished business with Takeshita after everything that went down at Wrestle Dream. So on Collision, he is going to have an open challenge, promise to remind everyone why he's out of this world. I was very sad at who answered it, but those two put on a banging match. And honestly, it was a really good one on Collision, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
We are going to talk about that. Yep.
We will. So then we get to our main event where we have the Switchblade, Jay Watt, taking on evil turtleneck incarnate himself, Christian Cage. I'm not going to lie. When I saw this on the card, I was like, this is kind of random. Like, I thought we would have spaced out like Jay White coming after Christian Cage on his hit list, so to speak. But nope, we just decided to get to it. And you know what? This was a pretty fun match. Though I will say the best thing that came out of this match are the memes of Hangman Aggro Page just decking and like costing Jay the match, and then just sitting there with his eyes popping out of his skull. Spoiler alert, Hangman Page cost Jay White the match. Christian Cage does pick up the victory, so we are not done with Hangman and Jay White. So
I'm glad
there's
for that.
Yes. But also Kip Sabian gets involved and kind of inadvertently helps Christian win, which does not go the way that Kip Sabian thought it was planned and all that. So I will say this. I'm so happy that the couple is back in AEW. We have Kip Sabian, and then we're going to talk about her later because Penelope Ford, I miss you so much. Anyways, that is where Dynamite ends, and that is the programming. So I am going to just touch the tip real quick, and we're going to tag in Alice, who's going to tell us what went down on Rampage.
This is Rampage.
A good Rampage too.
It was a really good Rampage. It was one of those where like we blinked and it was like, it's over already.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, this was so entertaining. It was a nice full hour. So we opened with Mark Briscoe versus the Butcher, which was good. I love the Butcher. He's so good. It makes me a little anxious because Briscoe did win this match, and I'm like, oh, please, I don't want you to lose this ladder crazy match that's coming up, but I'm afraid that you winning here means you're going to lose at the ladder match, and I don't want that to be the case. I did like how at the end of the match, Mark Briscoe stayed out.
When Kyle O'Reilly came in.
Yep.
Yeah,
that was so cool. I thought it showed like
camaraderie.
Yeah, camaraderie and like an established relationship among the conglomeration. Orange Cassidy walked out with him, with Kyle O'Reilly also. So kind of Mark Briscoe waited in the ring. Kyle O'Reilly came up, kind of like, hyped him up a little bit, and then went to go join Orange up at the entry ramp. Yep. So it was like a nice little moment for the conglomeration. And we had the conglomeration's Kyle O'Reilly versus Aaron Solo.
Yep.
Who came out, and I went, who's that? And I believe he's on ROH. So he was brought up, unfortunately, to lose. But this was an okay match.
I mean, wrestling wise, it was a good match.
Yeah.
It was solid. It didn't. There were no like stuttering, no botches. They worked really well together.
I agree.
But it. Yeah, it was.
I think I just
match.
am not particularly a fan of Kyle O'Reilly's style.
Well, yes.
And that's fine, right? Because his style works for somebody else, so that's fine. And then at the end, we had Kyle O'Reilly calling out Okada for the Battle of the Belts, where he was challenging for the Continental Championship, which I kind of felt like was out of left field. What? I mean, I guess they're trying to give him something, which is nice.
I mean, it is and it kind of isn't. And I blame AEW for this one because we did get an interaction between Okada and Kyle O'Reilly at Wrestle Dream, but I believe it happened during 0 Hour backstage. So if you don't watch 0 Hour, you missed part of it. So they were going at it. They both had to be escorted out of the building because they started fighting. And I thought we were going to get like maybe a couple of weeks build to this, have this match happen and go down like at the go home of Dynamite, or even honestly, that would have been a really fun Full Gear match. But it happens at Battle of the Belts. I'm like, you're wasting my time, AEW. Poor Kyle O'Reilly. I just want good things for him.
Yeah, spoiler alert, at Battle of the Belts, Okada retained.
Yeah, of course.
Of course. Next, we had a promo from Deonna Purrazzo and Taya Valkyrie with some words about family.
Ready to see this mafia.
I love them in the dark.
Yeah, I do. I love these promos, but I need action.
Yeah. Right
now, I need this to be in the ring. I need to see them beefing with somebody or trying to get more people in. We need to move this forward.
Yeah.
I'm loving it, but if we keep doing these promos, I'll be lost.
Yeah. I would not mind them going after Mariah May for a little bit. I think that would be fun.
I think that would be fun, but
you don't want to start this new faction and then have both Taya and Deonna lose to Mariah.
Yeah, we need to build them up. They need to win a little, right? They or a lottle.
A lot of-
To build them up sort of as like a formidable force, right? As this new faction. So I wouldn't want that to happen, at least not yet. So after that, we had Anna Jay versus Trish Adora, which was a fun match. I really liked this match.
Yeah, it was.
I just anytime Trish Adora is in the ring, I'm like, yay!
Trish is so underrated. Like when people talk about women's wrestling, she's just so fantastic. And granted, she's only been wrestling for 7 years, I believe, if I remember correctly. But she's just so darn good. I love Trish, and I thought this was a good opponent for Anna as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought they really worked well together.
Yep.
And Trish Adora has the most beautiful German suplex I've ever seen.
Yep.
That's it. For this match, Mariah May was on commentary. I love her on commentary.
She is so unhinged. I love her.
She's so good on commentary. I love it.
She's so unhinged. Like she inadvertently mentioned like blue pills to Tony Schiavone, and Nigel McGuinness being the naughty little British boy that he is. It is so whack. Like it's so crazy and out of left field with when Mariah's on commentary. I love her so much.
Yeah, very entertaining. I love that. So then at the end, of course, because we were building up for Anna Jay versus Mariah May at Battle of the Belts, she, taunted Anna Jay a little bit at the conclusion of this match, which, again, filled with innuendos, and I was a little like, oh my.
I clutch my pearls.
Yeah, right. But this was really good. I liked the energy here. Then we had we cut backstage with Renee Paquette and Harley Cameron.
Another one who's
I saw a lot of Harley is just also unhinged, and I love her too. And surprisingly enough, I saw a lot of her this weekend too, because she was also at the MLP shows for Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, and she wrestled, which was fantastic. It was great.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I love how unhinged she is. I love how she says words, right? Like the incapacitated, right? I am multifaceted, right? She just like
I just need her and Mark Briscoe to have like a full segment conversation together, and I would
Right?
die.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Would die happy.
Yeah. So anyway, she was getting hyped for her match with Chris Statlander on Collision. So that was that promo. Again, the question is like, where is Saraya? Incapacitated. So I wonder, like, if
Renee at the end. She's like, what?
Right? Because Harley just right. What? But I wonder, how long is Harley going to cover for Saraya? Is Saraya going to show up? Are they, you know what I mean?
Right.
Are we sowing the seeds of discontent? Are we kind of, is she have the blinders on and she's like only love for Saraya for a while? You know what I mean? So I'm interested to see where that relationship goes.
Yep.
But it seems like that's kind of on the back burner for now. Then it was main event time. Main event. And we had, oh my gosh, what a fun matchup. We had Private Party versus MXM as our main event for Rampage. What a fun. First, like I said, this hour was just fantastic. And I love both of these tag teams. Oh my God, is that Private Party? And MXM Collection. And they had oh my gosh, you know his name. The person who came out with them last time.
Rico.
He was on
Rico.
He was not cosmetically cleared, so he was not able to be present at the main event on Rampage. I thought that was just so clever and funny. It fits in with their shtick. So good. This match was great.
Yeah, and the best thing with MXM is, not only are they entertaining personalities, but they wrestle really well.
Yeah.
And paired with Private Party, this match could have easily been a pay-per-view 0-hour match. That's just how good it was.
Yeah.
It
was, and they're all four of them, right?
Yes.
Are really very good wrestlers. Yep. And again, very, very entertaining. So the Private Party did come away with the win.
Yep.
So, yay, Private Party.
Yep.
Again, kind of like feeding my dream of them for some reason ending up with a tag team title belt rematch, maybe against the EVP's wishes. So I really hope we get that. But that was your Rampage.
That was your Rampage for
it was definitely
October 18th.
Fun. I want to see more Private Party and MXM Collision go at. When Private Party gets those titles, I want them to go up against MXM Collection as the first feud. Like, I would just be amazed.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let me take my youngest man alive glasses off.
And I'm the youngest man alive.
Put my old man glasses on, because we're going to talk about Collision for October 19th. So we start off with a Jon Moxley spot. Jon Moxley. I said it right. We start out with Mox. It was the spot that was seen on Instagram and whatnot, where he's talking about nobody owns the championship belt. It's supposed to mean something. It's a symbol of everything I hate. We will win this war.
Which is a wild take, if we're honest.
I was like, what?
Yeah. He
says those words. I'm like, why are you here?
And are you ready for this one? Juxtaposed.
You did it.
Thank you. Next to the words he said on Wednesday Night Dynamite. This is what I mean. It feels like something is missing. It feels like he's like contradicting himself. And I just I want to like what they're trying to do, but something is missing and I need something. So, but this leads us right into our first main event of the night, because that's the quality that this match was. We had Ricochet versus Biconic's favorite, AR Fox.
Friend to the channel. Shout out to Fox. AR.
Yep. And wow, what an opener. This match, main event quality, 0-hour pay-per-view quality.
This is probably my favorite match of the whole entire 3 days of AEW programming. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, both AR and Ricochet just went at it, told a fantastic story. Best part about it is I was honestly questioning if Ricochet was going to win, which was great, because you look at it on paper, you're like, oh yeah, Ricochet's going to win, this be a squash. No. Very competitive. Ricochet hits the vertigo on AR Fox for the 1-2-3. He then gets the microphone and calls out Takeshita. And Ricochet says that he is waiting for you, Takeshita. So,
I'm so ready. It's exciting. Guys, I think Jon Moxley found me, so I gotta go back into hiding really quickly. I'm gonna go into the bunker, so I will catch y'all next time, and I will update you if Mox has found me or not. So I'm gonna, oh my gosh, he's here.
Yeah. Here we go.
And if psychotic, bald-headed wrestlers are after you, might I suggest enlisting the help of the sponsor of the show, Frank Mortos, Attorney at Law. Frank Mortos, Attorney at Law. Have you been injured by the hardest part of the wrestling ring, the ring edge, or have you taken an accidental bump off a turnbuckle? Well, contact Frank Mortos, attorney at law, and he can assist you. Roar, grumble, roar. Frank Mortos, attorney at law. So, thank you, Frank Mortos, attorney at law. I got this.
How many people are here?
So after that fantastic match, we had Daniel Garcia and Private Party in a backstage spot. This whole backstage spot, I was waiting for them to get snuck by the Blackpool Combat Club. They did not. They did call out the Young Bucks.
Good.
Yeah, calling the Young Bucks complacent with what's been going on. So
I mean, I would agree.
yeah, I mean, yeah, that's fair.
If you're going to call yourself the EVP and then do nothing while someone declares war on your company,
that's fair. That's fair. Though they declared war on AEW as well. There's so much warring going on. However, you know what was a fun war that came on after this spot? Chris Statlander versus Harley Cameron.
ooh,
I'll tell you what. Hey, Alice, did you know Harley Cameron can wrestle?
What?
Yeah.
No.
Harley Cameron can wrestle. And this was a good match. Kudos to both. They on this one spot that they did in the match, it was a stalled pile driver. The reason why I'm giving flowers to both of them is, number one, Chris Statlander shows the power getting Harley up, right? Mm-hmm. But then once Harley is up, it is a transfer of energy, if you will, for the two of them to hold that pile driver, and they held it for what seemed like ever. So it was
we call that a display of athleticism,
right? Very good. Harley, she just continues to impress me. Very agile, great agility. She did one of those like lucha style spinning DDTs on Chris, which to me was just like out of nowhere, but it was beautiful. And then Chris just came with the power. So Chris Statlander does get the win, and immediately grabs the mic and calls out Camille.
I got a question for you, Adolph.
Yes.
So this Chris Statlander rebrand coming out as a babyface with seemingly no lead up. What's your take?
Still to non-existent, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not working for you?
Well, it's not that it's not working for me. It's just like, other than Stokely halfway not being there, I'm
like, what's the difference?
What's the difference? Yeah. Yeah, like, because to me, it felt like Stokely was coaxing her on, to be that heel character. Mm-hmm. So, and when he wasn't around, it didn't seem like she was heelish, right. So now, like, for it to be more of an impact, I would like her to lean more into the babyface, like she did way back when she was best friends with Willow Nightingale and all that. Still, really lean into that, like into that babyface persona, especially with the amount of heel females that they have in AEW. It would be nice. Yeah. But yeah, so she calls out Camille. Speaking of a heel, Camille the heel. And we're getting that match at the Fright Night
Dynamite.
That's right. So then our next match, we have the Premier Athlete versus Daniel Garcia and Private Party.
Can I just say,
yes,
I didn't think I was going to like them together.
Daniel Garcia and Private Party?
Yeah. And I'm pleased to announce that I was wrong.
Dare I say Private Party was the personality that Daniel Garcia needed.
I'll take that. I'll buy that for $1. Because I think that's what I was feeling was lacking.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed Daniel Garcia's in-ring work, but
sure,
he always seemed very lacking when it came to his spots and this, that, and
promos,
the other.
character
Yeah.
work,
I
etc.
mean, he had that whole like hip, like dance, like hip thrusting dancing thing, but it just like, I don't know.
Oh,
It,
yeah, I
like,
remember that.
it got old real quick. So now with Private Party, he seems a little bit more
Dare we say grounded?
yeah, and more focused as well.
Yeah.
So I feel that him with Private Parties is really good. They do end up with the win. Daniel Garcia and Private Party do end up with the win.
Yeah, Private Party.
We do get another appearance of Stokely Hathaway
Ooh.
at ringside, which I want to ask.
What is he doing?
I want to ask you.
Me.
Yes, with the, excuse me,
Breathe.
that gyro's coming back.
My
on
good
me.
man. Breathe.
Do you think with
Not
the
usually.
story that Private Party is wrapped up in with the EVPs and maybe like the whole Moxley Blackpool Comic Club, is it smart to add in another story for Private Party in this whole Stokely Hathaway like trying to woo Zay away from Private Party?
I don't want him to woo Zay away. I don't like that a lot. I don't like that at all.
Right.
But what I think potentially could happen is if he ends up being manager for Private Party, that may be the push that they need to get the tag team gold.
Okay. All right.
I want Daniel Garcia and Private Party. I'm going to disagree with Mikey here. I want Daniel Garcia and Private Party to run the EVP thing and kind of lead the charge against Mox.
Okay.
Right? Because I think Daniel Garcia has been in it since like kind of the beginning.
Yep.
So I want that to happen. And I kind of want Stokely to go away. I feel like there's not really a clear direction for him. And this doesn't feel like it fits anywhere. At least not very nicely anyway.
Right. So after this, we got LFI spot, La Facción Inguinable spot. It just kind of quick recap of how they got together. This led us into.
They were the bull, the snake,
and the lawyer,
the lion, the dragon,
and the lawyer.
The lawyer.
That's right, Frank Mortos, attorney at law. So anyway, Orange Cassidy versus Bulk Bronson. That was our next match, and it was a squash match. That's it.
Yeah,
didn't even really go anywhere.
Well, like, why was it there?
I don't know. To give Orange Cassidy a reason to be in the building for the next spot that we have coming up.
But plenty of time he's just in the building and doesn't have a match.
Right. We're getting there.
All right.
So then after that, we had Jamie Hayter versus Brooke Havoc in another squash match, which I call Squash Plus. Jamie hits Brooke Havoc for the Haterade for the 1, 2, 3.
That was a devastating Haterade.
Yeah. However, at the end of this match, Penelope Ford appears on the Jumbotron, gives a quick history and recap of her and her history with Jamie Hayter.
Which I do appreciate that is happening now, especially as a person who's newer and has been watching AEW for under a year. A lot of things are like, oh, there's big pops in the crowd, and I'm over here like, who?
Yep.
What?
Yep. And she challenges Jamie Hayter for an upcoming match. So we'll see.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, we'll see where that comes in. Nothing has been announced yet. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, Orange Cassidy was in the building, for this next spot because we had Lexi Nair backstage with Daniel Garcia and Private Party. Orange Cassidy comes walking through the hallway and is asked by Daniel Garcia to step up and be the leader to lead the baby faces into this whole fracas with the Blackpool Combat Club and the EVPs, to which Orange Cassidy says, I'm no leader, I'm just not that guy, and kind of walks off. So, which...
See, this leads into what I said, right? Because Daniel Garcia wants Orange Cassidy to step up. He may not. So then who steps up in his place but Daniel Garcia himself?
I'm fair. Or we see Daniel Garcia step up, get beat, and then Orange Cassidy like comes in to end up being the leader.
He has to learn that he is a leader.
Very cinematic. Very
right?
Much drama.
Much drama.
Much drama.
He's the one whose destiny has been, you are chosen.
Right.
And he's like, no. And then Destiny's gonna be like, surprise.
Yes. Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this all unfurls. But we got my next match of the night, if you will. Which
how many matches of the night do you have?
This was a good collision. I have a bunch. We had Atlantis Jr. versus Kyle Fletcher, part 2. If we run it back real quick, Atlantis Jr. versus Kyle Fletcher, part 1 happened in Arena, Mexico on Viernes Espectacular, when Kyle Fletcher was the ROH television champ, and Atlantis Jr. beat Kyle Fletcher for that title. Another great match between these two. I'm super excited to see if there's a part 3. Kyle Fletcher.
Very important. Do you remember what outfit Kyle Fletcher was wearing?
Kyle Fletcher was wearing his white outfit.
What?
Kyle Fletcher was wearing his white outfit in the first match. This match, he was wearing his black outfit. Kind of showing off how he's leaning into the rudo part, the true heel that he is now becoming, which I thought was great. This felt like a very lucha match
and very classic heel, right? Because he tried to pull the mask off of Atlantis,
right? Yeah, that's why I was like,
very rude,
had a lot of rudo going on there. And Kyle Fletcher does win this second match, where he drove Atlantis Jr.'s head into the top turnbuckle, and then got.
Well, that doesn't hurt at all.
No, I don't.
They say the top turnbuckle is the softest part of the ring.
Right. Not sure if it was a botch, but if it was, they played it off really well.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah. And then Kyle Fletcher got the microphone. He said that he's going to talk tomorrow, Wednesday, the 23rd, about why he did what he did to Will Ospreay. So
sad.
Yeah. So that was that. We had a quick recap of Brody versus Darby after this. From Wrestle Dream. It was interesting. Yeah.
Okay.
It's interesting. But then this did lead us into House of Black versus Alpha Zoe, Chris Nasty EE, and Alunide. And
that looks like if you wrote Olumide.
Olunide, thank you.
You're welcome.
And if I slaughtered your name, Olunide, I apologize.
Here. Yeah.
Thank you.
You've paid your dues.
This was yet another squash plus match. House of Black just decimated. I will give props to the enhancement talent. They were very entertaining because they kept tagging each other in when Brody was in, because no one wanted to fight Brody.
That's funny.
It was
that's very funny.
Very comical. And I will also I want to give flowers to Olenide, because he found himself in the ring with all 3 of the House of Black members and was actually able to fight them off for a little bit.
Okay.
So, of
That's
course,
hard to do.
Yeah, of course. Before, and then Buddy just freaking lifting knee kicked him to next week, and that was that.
That was that.
So then we have our next backstage segment where we had Lexi Nair and Thunder Rosa. We were getting caught up on Thunder Rosa and where she's been. She's actually been out with a concussion.
Oh, yikes.
So, and our favorite unhinged Harley Cameron interrupts Thunder Rosa.
For why? We may never know.
Yeah, because I mean, Thunder Rosa just cold cocked her, and then Harley, like while she's on the floor, challenges Thunder Rosa for a match this upcoming week.
Oh,
so
that's
we'll see.
exciting.
So we'll
I
see.
would
if
like
it
to
comes.
see that.
Yeah.
As long as she's not herself incapacitated.
So then, our next match. This is the Outrunners versus La Facción.
Oh, you're not going to do your...
I don't have the glasses.
Oh, then I did it. Ha!
I am the oldest man alive. You see, now you're the youngest woman alive because you have the youngest woman alive glasses.
Yeah.
Why
can't I be the youngest man alive?
You can be the youngest man alive.
That's what I said.
Okay, then you're the youngest man alive. There we go. So we had the Outrunners versus La Facción in Gonorables. What a pop for the Outrunners when they came out. Holy nutsack.
You could have said mackerel. You went with nutsack?
I did. Yeah, we're getting demonetized now. It's fine. Right. But yeah, they had a huge pop when they came out. LFI, this was a great main event. LFI, they caught Truth Magnum in the ring and they just lumped them up for a good portion of the match. Then in a very dramatic 80s callback tag in, you had Truth Magnum tag in Turbo Floyd, and he clears the ring, but Dralistico, who was actually sitting out this match,
I was wondering.
Yeah, he was doing a lot of the casting interference, and he actually Turbo Floyd got Roosh up for a pile driver, but Turbo Floyd was too close to the ring ropes, and Dralistico pulled Turbo Floyd's feet out from under him, putting Roosh on top of him for the 1-2-3 pin.
Sneaky.
So LFI wins through shenanigans. LFI then begins to whoop on the Outrunners. But FDR comes out. And
I love
the team of FT Runner.
Yes, the FT Runner thing
stands tall,
for me.
Right?
Yes, more.
Yep.
Good.
Then we had Sammy Guevara doing a spot about how he's fighting Shelton Benjamin tomorrow, which leads us.
At Dynamite.
Yep, which leads us to our true main event of the night.
Oh my gosh!
It was a lot of good
matches. Main event. Wow.
So we had Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, and Pac, your Blackpool Combat Bastard, the Trios champs, versus Top Flight and Action Andretti.
Sure.
And Claudio Castagnoli, don't you think I don't see those purity seals that you were rocking? You 40K nerd, you.
I think that makes you the nerd, doesn't it? Because you recognized them.
Claudio Castagnoli, I challenge you, my Tyranid army versus your army. 2,000 points, sir. Throwing that out there. Anyway.
That made sense to someone.
So the story here in this match, it was a good match, but was how well Claudio, Wheeler, and Pac, and we all know that Wheeler's working through this whole
poor traumatized boy
betrayal thing and whatnot, but Claudio, Wheeler, and Pac worked so well together.
I know they do. I love that they're being a true trio now, because they really do. The three of them work really well together. I did love this arc that Wheeler took us on.
Yep.
You know, the whole struggling internally and then eventually deciding to turn on Bryan Danielson. It looks like he is still struggling a little bit.
Yep.
So like, and I love that for him, seeing that through, right? And making this arc take longer, right? I think that's really speaks to his talent in terms of character work. But yeah, I agree. I love seeing them as a trio.
Yeah. And they, you know, it was actually very artistic to see how they had a counter for everything that Top Flight and Action Andretti had, because Top Flight and Action Andretti are high flyers, super high energy, and Blackpool Combat Bastard kept them very grounded, countered everything that they had. Even when they rolled out of the ring, they were getting lumped up, and not illegally. Just like out of nowhere, here comes Wheeler Yuta with the Psycho Knee, onto Darius. So it was a good main event match. We do get the Blackpool Combat Bastards winning.
What a surprise!
Yeah. To which John Moxley, Marina Shafir come out. They start to lump up Action Andretti and Top Flight. Leo Rush, Layla Gray come running out to try to help out. Layla Gray gets kicked by Marina Shafir.
Not Layla Gray.
Yep. And Leo Rush gets just, whooped on. Seeing all this happening, though, it made me think if John Moxley and Blackpool Combat Club, if this is like their way of pushing this newer talent.
I mean, in my opinion, I'm going to say yes, because I think that Top Flight, Leo Rush, and Action Andretti in particular are very good sellers.
Right.
And I think they are also very clearly good guys.
Yeah.
Right. So I think putting them on screen more, creating this tension, I think it's putting them over with the crowd.
Right. And when they finally get that big win, it's going to be a well-deserved win.
And the crowd's going to go nuts.
Yeah. I just hope that is the direction that we are heading.
That's what I would hope too.
So,
I mean, and well-deserved, right? Like, I think Top Flight, Action Andretti, and Leo Rush deserve that.
Right.
From AEW.
Right. Exactly. But before we get there, we got this. Blackpool Combat Club wins, beats everyone up. That's when this goes off the air, and then Battle of the Belts comes on.
Oh, so it just kind of ends with them beating each other up, and then like the lights go out. Like, what happens?
Yeah, that was.
It's like commercial, and then everything's. They're like, they're not fighting anymore. Yeah, we don't know what happened.
And then Battle of the Belts comes on. So,
yay.
But the quick recap of Battle of the Belts: we had Okada versus Kyle O'Reilly.
Okada retained.
We had Brian Cage and Lance Archer versus John Cruz and Jack Cartwheel. Brian Cage and Lance Archer wins. And then we have Anna Jay versus Mariah May with Anna Jay
with the win. I loved this upset. I'm so glad they did that.
Yep.
I'm so tired of Battle of the Belts doing nothing and nothing happening. And here something happened.
Yep.
So I'll take it.
It was good. So yeah, and then just really quick, I want to touch on what we got coming in going into this new week of All Elite Wrestling. So tomorrow night on Dynamite, we have Briscoe Jericho in that ROH World Championship ladder war.
Wins.
Yeah. And let's either which way, let's hope that this is the final between the
two of them. Yeah, I hope
good.
so.
I'm good. We have Jack Perry and the Young Bucks versus Private Party and Danny Garcia.
I think Jack Perry and the Young Bucks are going to win this one. Because last time, because they did this already, Private Party won.
Oh, sure.
Which shocked me. I was like, oh my God, they won. That's amazing. Right. But I don't think so. Not again.
Right. But do we think that because the whole thing with Dynamite this week is warning Mox is here, so everyone's
perhaps
on
Mox
edge,
comes out, and
Mox
then no contest, nobody wins,
right?
And maybe that's why they get their tag team.
Yeah, or maybe Mox actually goes after the Bucks and Jack Perry, or reveals that they're all working together. We'll see.
Oh no, betrayal!
Right. Then we have Sammy Guevara versus Shelton Benjamin. which was talked about on Collision.
Yeah.
We have Queen Aminata versus Camille.
Looking forward to that.
Yep.
Really looking forward to that.
Yep. House of Black is going to be in action. Interesting that House of Black is on Dynamite.
I'm a little sad about that.
Yeah.
I love them on my show.
Right. I mean, that is where they
Sure.
usually are, is on our show.
Yes.
However, and follow me on this path. What if House of Black, seeing how dishonorable Claudio Wheeler and Pac have been, what if they come out and challenge Blackpool Combat?
Sort of a face Black, a face House of Black going for the Trios Championship. I would not be mad.
Right?
I would not be mad.
I want a little bit of a build on that one.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
If
for sure.
that's
for
it.
Sure.
You know, because we also House of Black does have to still address Christian Cage and the patriarchy.
Yeah, but Luchasaurus is out indefinitely
Fair
with
fair.
pneumonia.
Luchasaurus, get better. We miss you on our TV screens, Luchasaurus. So get better. And then
Pneumonia sucks.
And then the other thing that we have on the docket for Dynamite tomorrow is a story time with Kyle Fletcher.
I can't wait. I hope it's compelling.
Do we think Will Ospreay will come out?
Yes.
Probably. Dun, 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 dun.
Or-
Dun, dun, dun.
He's either coming out and yelling, or we're getting a TV.
Joke? Sure. Or how about if Ricochet comes out?
For Kyle Fletcher, after he just called out Takeshita?
Yep. I mean, they're
You
both.
think so?
Well, number one, they're both Don Callis family, and
Okay.
number two,
But he just specifically called out Takeshita.
right,
I don't think he'd come out for Kyle Fletcher.
right. But Kyle Fletcher has kind of been like Takeshita's best friend, so
So
how to get to Takeshita but through his best friend?
but he's waiting for Takeshita. That would indicate that he's not doing anything.
Right.
Right.
So anyway, so that's what we got going on this upcoming week. So looks like we have a lot of build that is going to be continuing, and then we will see what else happens. So that is going to be the show for this week. So from Alice, from Mikey, and I want to say thank you all for watching. Please check us out on all of our socials. We do have tons of shows throughout the week live, and then if you check us out on YouTube, we have all of our replays there, and we are actually going to be having some new pre-taped shows coming out on YouTube as well. So please check that out. And as always, don't forget that you're Biconic, we're Biconic,
And always finish your story.
that's right. Y'all take care. I can figure this out.
You can do it.
I'm
I
doing it
believe
right
in
now.
you.
Bye.